So let's settle into our evening with our meditation. So beginning by taking this time to allow ourselves to settle, settling in, settling down, relaxing back into being. Meditation, the practice of being and knowing, rather than the usual mode of doing and thinking, just being and knowing. Being here, this place, being now, the present moment, being aware, receptive, attentive, mindful to what is simply as it is. Meditation is a stabilizing of mind, body, heart in the present, helping to uncomplicate the mind, and even in a sense, opening the heart to present moment knowing. And we can maybe use the naturally occurring sensation of our breath as our reference point for the present moment. But before focusing on the breath, just relaxing awareness down into the body, breathing out any stress, tension, and relaxing awareness into the body, sensing, feeling our body sitting here, helping to ground awareness in the present through noticing the body. Noticing maybe our feet connecting with the floor, contact sensation, feet against the floor. Noticing and feeling our body connecting with the chair, the cushion, or the meditation stool. Another reference point for the present, feeling that sensation, body against the chair, cushion, or stool. Noticing the placement of our hands and fingers, making sure they feel comfortable, adjusting them if we need to. Feeling the contact sensation of hands and fingers. Maybe one hand touching the other, touching the fabric of our clothes. Just noticing, sensing, feeling. Bringing our awareness up to our face, noticing our face. Maybe even feeling the air connecting with our face. And also noticing light coming in through the closed eyelids. Even though the eyelids are closed, there's still some degree of light coming in. So looking into that lightness, brightness, color, patterning, or blankness. Forward focused gaze into the space in front through the closed eyelids. And not being distracted or disturbed by any background sounds we might hear. And particularly also the internal mental sight or sound of thoughts. Not being distracted or disturbed by those. But rather choosing to bring our attention to the naturally occurring sensation of our breath. A reference point for the present moment, the sensation of the breath. Maybe feeling that at the nose nostril area, directing attention to that place and keeping our attention there to feel the inflow, feeling the outflow, just letting our body breathe itself naturally, feeling each breath, also looking into that lightness, brightness through the closed eyelids, using one or two meditative mental words, mantra in the mind if it's helpful. Allowing the mind to quieten down, quietening, also allowing the heart space to open as there's less noise, less movement in the mind, feeling more present, a heartful presence. Feeling and knowing each breath in each present moment, allowing this mindful, heartful knowing, inner spaciousness, silence, stillness, a sense of presence, presence and peace. couple of minutes of our meditation, we can make a dedication, invocation, aspiration, affirmation, or even prayer, gifting the goodness of our meditation this evening and indeed our life this day to others. Whatever goodness, good energy, merit, karma has come from our meditation this evening, and indeed our life this day, we gift that to others, particularly loved ones, family, friends. May they receive this good energy, this wish of well-being. May they be well, happy, free from pain, issue, illness, living their life well. So sending some good vibe energy to those people that we connect with that are important, significant for us in our life. May they be well, happy, free from pain, issue, illness, living their life well. Also as a gift to ourselves, a sense of gifting ourselves this well-wishing, well-being, and may I too be well, happy, free from pain, issue, illness, living my life well. May my life be a blessing to others. So feeling that goodness, gifting that to as well to ourselves, wishing ourselves well. May I be well, happy, free from pain, issue, illness, living my life well. May my life be a blessing to others. We're ready to end the meditation, just taking a deep breath and slowly opening our eyes to finish. Please help yourself to some tea and biscuits, and then we can have some reflections and any questions or discussion. Into any tea?
No, oh, okay. And just have it. So.
The last couple of weeks I've been talking about relationship the importance of relationship. And just as a bit of a recap, remind, also for those that weren't here the last couple of weeks, a sense of appreciating that relationship is in many ways life. Life is relationship. So 2 weeks ago, I mentioned that life is relationship. Fundamentally, the relationship that our mind of conscious awareness has to our world of experience. So the phenomenal world of experience, which for us as human beings, we experience through the 5 senses, and also the sense of the mind, which is thought, thinking. So how we know we are alive is through the experience of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, feeling, and then also thinking as well. So when those senses are gone, then that's pretty much the definition of not sensing, either being in a very deep meditation, being unconscious, as in surgery, or not being alive. So becomes really important that to appreciate that the quality of our life is related to the quality of the relationship to our experience of those senses. So that when our quality of relationship, connection, let's say mindfulness is diminished, distorted, distressed, distracted, then we lose that sense of connection into life. And also appreciating as well, I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that our senses only pick up data that's happening in the present moment. So we can't smell something yesterday. We can't hear something tomorrow. The senses just pick up data, information right here, right now. And yet, unfortunately, we often miss out on the right now experience because we're thinking. The sense of thinking is there, and we're not really present for the physical senses, often living our life days ahead of ourselves, maybe sometimes fantasy, sometimes being caught up in fear, fearing something that maybe hasn't happened yet, maybe never will happen. So that's where meditation comes in as a training to train the brain, mind, heart to be more here now for life, connecting into life here now in the present moment. If we do need to think about the past or the future, yes, we do so, but as a conscious, mindful act in the present moment. So we choose, okay, now I'm going to think about what did happen last week that I need to sort of learn from, or what do I need to plan for next week? But it's done as a mental act in the present moment. So meditation again becomes important, integral to living a more conscious, mindful life that's more full of experience, having more of our moments of mindfulness. Last week, I spoke about the importance of the interpersonal relationship, which also very important, significant for life. In many ways, mentioning that our psychological, even physiological health relates to the quality of our connection to others, having quality relationships. When we're not having good relationships, then stress, fear, frustration, disappointment, confusion, overwhelm, grief, or even when there's no relationship with anyone else, then that can really affect our well-being as well. So as human beings, we have evolved to the point of needing, even though it seems to be maybe that we do need, but it is an evolution of needing others, which also helps to support others as well. We need others, they need us, and so we sort of exist more as a group, a collective. And in that, there is the ability to develop lots of wholesome qualities as we connect mindfully, heartfully with other people, whether it's one person, as in a partner, intimate relationship, or family collective, or maybe as a extended family, a bit more, even into a group, and obviously there's many types and forms of groups, communities, sense of village, town, shire, state, country, and even into the sense of like the sense of global community, the sense of connecting and feeling part of that global community, humanity, even maybe a sense of responsibility, so that that can motivate us to be a good example to others. But certainly the sense that we can feel a sense of connection and support, a sense of even identity through having a community that we connect with. Not that we're having to live with that community, even it's possible to live alone, but to connect with others at time, in time, to be able to spend quality time with others and share our presence. I mentioned last week as well that the importance of spiritual practice, including connecting with other people. So spiritual practice, whether it's a meditation group, in Buddhism, it's called a sangha, group, collective, congregation, fellowship, a sense of community and feeling that, yes, I'm part of a movement towards living in a wholesome, skillful, moral, meditative, wise way. And even just knowing that you feel supported in your practice, even though we may be practicing at home by ourselves, but we know, oh, I'm part of a group. And when I present to the group, who I am, how I am, what I am, why I am will affect the group, a sense of group feel. So that can even motivate us to how we live our life during the week. So we're presenting in a calm, mindful way on a Thursday evening, let's say. Those that maybe can't do that probably don't arrive. But it can be helpful for our sense of even self-identity to have that sense of being part of a collective or group that aligns with our values, also our virtues, quality. These are virtues, skills and strengths, even particular views on things, how we see things, and even vision as well, what I call our 4 Vs. So fundamental core values. Probably find that a lot of us that come here, we have similar underlying core values. And therefore we appreciate similar virtues, patience, kindness, generosity, mindfulness, wisdom, and so forth. And similar perspectives or views on things as well. Non-harming, being kind, the importance of being patient, being friendly, and being generous, and so forth. And also vision. Sure, everyone has individual visions or goals, but even just the vision for improving the quality and clarity of our mind, heart, the vision towards wakefulness, waking up, enlightenment, spiritual liberation as a sort of a vision or mission or goal. This evening, reflecting a bit more on the intrapersonal relationship. So inter important, yes, but intra as well. The intrapersonal relationship is the relationship that we have with ourselves, which is often considered the most important one, because that then affects every other relationship. How we feel about ourselves then affects how we are likely to feel in relating to others, maybe even whether we do relate to others. If we don't feel good with ourselves, maybe we don't want to relate to others. We feel embarrassed, or how could they like me? If I don't like me, how could they like me? And then even into a sense of how we relate to experience does come back to also how it is we are with ourselves as well. Because often if we're not at ease with ourselves, it's very difficult to be open just to listen or to look or to sense and feel, because we're just caught up in this negative self-talk. So a lot of psychology is helping people to develop a better relationship with themselves. Even though maybe from a Buddhist perspective, that can seem a bit strange. You know, we hear the Buddha say, well, but there is no self. The self's not anything real. So why would you spend lots of time talking to a psychologist about yourself when it's not even real? But the appreciation is that, yes, the self is not a solid, static, stable, enduring thing, but it is a psychological phenomena. So the psychological self, a sense of the identity, or the sense of who we are. It's a phenomena, and within the context of the Buddha's teachings, it's impermanent, it's changing, it's fluxing. The sense of self that we had when we were 5 is not the same sense of self that we had when we were 15, 45, 50, or beyond that. It's changing, and hopefully changing for the better. If it's not, then see a psychologist or a psychotherapist. But I think I've been reflecting upon this myself. The sense of for meditation, it's really important for people to be able to have a good, not just a good sense of self, but a good relationship with themselves. Otherwise, it's difficult just to sit down and be and quieten the mind and open the heart. It's like, well, if there's a lot of negative self-talk, frustration, irritation, not liking oneself, despising oneself, despairing towards oneself, then it makes it very difficult for the mind to quieten down. So practice can then be about developing a kind, caring, considerate relationship with our sense of self. And that's where even asking ourselves, well, how do I feel about myself? How do I really feel about myself? We stop pretending. How do I really feel about myself? And even say, well, if myself was another person, how would I feel about that person? Would I want to know them or get to know them? Would I be happy to spend time with them? That other person, as my sense of self, has those characteristics. Would I want to spend time with that person? Or say, oh gosh, oh, they're trouble, or they're difficult, or they're self-centered. I wouldn't want to spend time with them. They've got too many issues. Or it might be even more closely, would you like to live with that person? Now, if your sense of self was another person, would you be okay living with them? Going on holidays with them? Sleeping with them? Because it's happening all the time, where we are living with ourselves, but we may be, in many ways, finding that a problem. And certainly people make the comment that in meditation, negative thoughts, getting upset with themselves, even about the meditation, why can't you just close that mind down, or shut that mind up? Or why can't you just sit still? Or what's wrong with you? So sort of a negative relationship with the self. So a lot of our practice can be about getting to understand, getting to know ourselves, getting to accept ourselves, being more okay with ourselves, being more friendly towards ourselves. Because often the self may be unease because there's a sense of viewing it in a negative way. Particularly maybe aspects of ourselves. I don't like that about myself. Or, that thing that I did 25 years ago, I can't forgive myself for that. And it becomes a underlying pain that's there. I don't want to sit in meditation too long, just in case some stuff comes up about myself that I might have to sort of look at or meet or feel. So that can become an issue. So being able to, in a way, develop a kindness towards oneself through understanding. It all comes back to understanding. When I talk to people about being able to forgive people, we can't just go and forgive someone for what they've done. But if we can develop an understanding of, well, why might they have said that or done that? They may be coming from their own fear, their own sort of issues, their own conditioning, their own limitations, their own sort of confusions. So understanding that, then we can go, okay, well, I can understand where they're coming from and why they might have said that or done that. It doesn't make it right, but I can understand, and therefore I can maybe have compassion for them in their limitation, in their confusion, in their misguidedness, in their fear, anger, in their sort of desires. So compassion for them. And then that, from compassion, that can move then into forgiveness. I can forgive them for how they have been or what they have done. Doesn't mean that we need to forgive what they've done, but the actual forgiving the person. I can see that I can forgive them because of the limitation. What they've done maybe is not right, but I can certainly forgive them because of their limitations and confusion, which helps to free our own mind from having this negative relationship towards them. But the same towards ourselves as well. That sense of understanding that we are, still evolving, growing, learning. It's we're a lifetime learning. And the more we have that sense of acceptance and understanding, that allows the possibility of that kindness, compassion, care, and then even into the sense of forgiveness. Forgiveness, which is so freeing, and helping us then to grow more because we have forgiven ourselves for things that we've done, limitations, confusions of the past. And then that certainly then flows on to being able to practice meditation because we're not afraid to sit down and stuff comes up because we have forgiven ourselves. We've maybe let go. And then maybe also learn from the past as well. So as the mind becomes quieter, there can be more of a sense of ease and openness to the present moment. That's where the meditation happens, in the present moment. And the more at ease and accepting and compassionate and forgiving we can be of ourselves, then that can flow on to others as well in relationships. So it's very difficult for us to forgive someone something that we haven't forgiven ourselves for. So if we can forgive ourselves, then it makes it easy to then forgive someone else as well. Well, they've done that, and I've actually done that too. Maybe not as much as what they have, but I've forgiven myself, so I can forgive them too. Creating that sense of humanity, humanness. At the end of the day, it's about how we feel in ourselves. And so that given that we need to live with ourselves, we're journeying in a way, a pilgrimage through life. And we're traveling with ourselves. So it's like can I be a good companion to myself rather than always complaining about ourselves? The journey sort of will slow up the journey towards finding full wisdom and freedom. So that intrapersonal relationship, very, very important. Even to the point where there's a sense of compassion and kindness and forgiveness, and openness, friendliness towards ourself, which then allows the mind to let go the self, which is the essence of meditation. Because the mind's, if it's unease with the self, then it's thinking about the self, and therefore the mind can't go into that deep stillness, deep silence and spaciousness, which is in a way the fundamental potential of us in meditation. That also becomes the spiritual experience where the mind is free from the thinking. The thinking is what feeds and fuels the self. So when that stops and there's no self happening and there's deep, profound presence, which can be called a spiritual experience, religious experience, peak experience, God experience, beyond thought. Thought is always time bound into duality, self and other, this and that, here and there. When the mind is not bound by the limitations of thought, conceiving, thinking, giving birth to, often a sense of conceit, etymologically, there's a sort of a root flow through of words there. Concepts, words, conceiving, thinking, giving birth to conceit, giving birth to self. That stops. It's just present moment knowing awareness. Nowness, suchness. Suchness, the Buddhist word tatata, suchness. The Buddha often spoke about himself as the Tathagata, one of suchness. So the suchness of the present moment when the mind becomes quiet, the heart becomes open, and there is that sense of deep stillness, spaciousness, transcendence. So the practice becomes then helping to develop that good, healthy relationship, friendship with our life companion, ourself. And then the self can be happy to be foregone at sometimes forgo the self, just let the self go. And then there's just calm, knowing awareness. After the meditation, invite the self back. Okay, here we go. Self is needed for as a relational tool, as one of these things. It's a relational tool, so that that's where the self can then be used skillfully. Collecting information, collating information, calculating information, communicating information. That's what these do. So self is like a psychological relational tool. Doesn't always have to be on or there. Put it aside, turn it off, time out. So any thoughts or considerations yourself around this intrapersonal relationship? Brendan?
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot lately about, why thoughts appear when I don't want them to, meditating and I don't want these thoughts to happen, but they still happen. And I guess dealing with that frustration and sometimes anger even comes up. It's like, I don't want this thought, but it's there anyway. Why can't I stop these thoughts from happening? So that's something that I found I need to try to accept that the thoughts come, that I don't have control over them, and just let it be, forgive myself for that thought. And it seems that the thoughts are happening because of past conditioning and past actions. So it's a cause and effect thing. So because of the conditioning that I have, because of the things that I've done, the decisions I've made, now these thoughts appear, even though I don't want them to. But slowly over time, as I develop my practice, it seems like the thoughts still happen, but less frequently. Like things are calming down, which again seems like cause and effect. So the more that I train the mind, and the more that I also accept the mind as it is, it's able to become more peaceful, and thoughts still occur, but I don't react to them the same way I used to. And so generally overall it starts a calming down effect.
That's good.
It's more settled.
And it's also how the mind is used most of the day, apart from sleeping. We're thinking. So sit down to meditation, and that's the mode, it's the thinking mode, which is why it becomes important as well to have time outside of meditation when we're aware but we're not thinking. Just mindfully driving without thinking, or mindfully walking, or mindfully making a cup of tea without the thinking. And then when we sit to meditation, it's just mindfully breathing without thinking. But if we're thinking all the way through until meditation, then it's difficult to get out of that mode.
I think that's why the regular practice is so important, because if you lapse in doing that regular, then the mind is not used to, because it's only used to being in that thinking mode. So you've got to train it to be in a non-thinking mode.
And that's where that mindful relationship to experience. Just see, just hearing, just smelling or tasting, just feeling without the thinking. So the elegant sufficiency with regard to the use of thought, rather than this ongoing commentary and critique and complaint that's going on, and it's like a script watching a movie. There's this ongoing noise that's there. That's the dialogue that can be distracting. Ivan?
Yeah, as you know, I work with young people, and one thing I've noticed recently, I picked up on recently, is a lot of their problems come from poor self-view of themselves in terms of relationship struggles, the effort they put into things. And I don't know, I see it at first, but if some things have come out recently where I'm like, okay, this person has very low self-worth, and they actually think that not accepted by others, and therefore this behavior has actually come from this underlying their intrapersonal relationship, so to speak. What would you say to a young person to help them identify this, or a strategy? Because what applies for an adult doesn't necessarily apply for a teenager. For example, how would you present this to a teenager?
Yeah, it's difficult because young people can get caught into just focusing on the negative. We all can, but particularly teenagers, they don't have much years of experience to know good aspects of themselves. So the negative can be really emphasized and magnified, and become sort of the main sort of interface with their experience. So reminding them of some of their good points, even like, well, in the last week, what have you done that's been good? And what's some of the things you might do next week, or in the next few months that are good, helping others and doing this and that and performing here and there, and so some positive thoughts about themselves, so that they can then have those to counteract the negative thoughts that go on, and even helping people to think about the 4 V's. So what do you value? What are some of your values, and what are some of your virtues? If someone that knows you well were to describe you, how would they describe you? You're patient, you're kind, you're considerate, you're helpful, whatever, and any sort of helpful perspectives that you have on life. That we need to sort of maybe do more about the environment, and be more patient towards people and so forth, and aspirations or vision. So helping people develop that sense of yeah, I am actually not a bad person. I'm actually quite okay, and that then becomes a bit of a template to remind themselves of, this is who I am, not those negative thinking. But obviously it comes back to each individual, what they're receptive to.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. Basically developing skillful attention.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Wise attention. Yoni Somani Sakara. The womb of awareness. Leslie?
Listening to you, it's really just occurring to me now that I see myself through the eyes of others. I'm watching in the mirror, and that's how I know myself. Perhaps that's not from within. It's I think I see my teenage daughter do the same thing. They're very, who they're around is how they will feel about themselves. So I guess gravitating towards kind people helps.
For sure, yeah. So they're going to see you in a kind way.
Yeah, and then you can start to give yourself permission to see yourself that way.
Yeah. But ideally, to be able to know oneself, for oneself, and not be reliant on the other people.
Yeah.
It's a sense of look within and know thyself. It's really, really important.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's a sense of like needing to be around others to get that quality attention, and then if they don't give it quality attention or they say something unpleasant, that can be devastating.
It's very superficial.
Mm.
Yeah, it's funny how things just occur to you. Thank you.
I think that the Buddha said that when you receive criticism, then to investigate it, right? If there's truth in it, then accept it and change.
Yeah, yeah.
If there's not, then, you know,
But that's if you've done the work.
you've got to do the
You
work.
can, yeah.
It's ongoing work.
Yeah.
Don't just accept it, investigate it and see if it's,
Own it.
if there's truth to it or not.
But I think one of the functions of having a sangha is to actually apply that mirror connection, isn't it?
For sure, yeah.
How do you mean?
So sangha as in group or community or congregation. And you mean, Alberta, the sense of applying how other people see us, especially in a positive way?
Because we are supposed to be in a state or in a place where we can trust each other.
Yeah.
And we can be more sincere, open, and therefore the reactions and the responses we're gonna get are gonna be on the same level.
Fine.
Yeah. And that's where sharing and offering feedback can be helpful. So do give that some consideration, the intrapersonal relationship with oneself, even asking, well, how do I feel about myself? How do I see myself? What sort of relationship do I have with myself? And does that need to be modified to have more of a healthy relationship with oneself? As a reminder, in 2 weeks' time, I won't be sitting here, all being well. We'll have Ajahn Buri Panyo, an Australian Buddhist monk, sitting here. So we've invited him to come be here on Thursday evening. He's staying with me here until Monday, so he'll also be giving the Sunday meditation retreat day. So please let us know if you do want to come along to that, so we have an idea of how many are coming. It will be actually Easter Sunday, so if you're able to come and have an Easter Sunday spiritual practice here with a Buddhist monk.
No cyclones.
Pardon?
No cyclones.
Well, yes, all being well with the weather, yes. Thanks for coming out tonight, and see you next time. Thank you.